Hello there, YouTube. It's your boy Josh Rock,
This boy say,
and this is another episode of Sports Talk 10 Josh. So we back. So in this, we're gonna review Secret Invasion. We're gonna do an entire series. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do. It's gonna have some spoilers. We're not gonna do a play-by-play spoiler. So if you haven't seen it, this is a warning. We will discuss spoilers. Okay.
mhm.
So I let Tay go first. Tell me your first impression, episode one. Liked it, love it, hate it, or anything caught your eye?
Oh no, I think the hype is about to be real. I really do
Mm,
enjoy. I really did enjoy episode one.
mm,
Um, I'm liking the fact that they kind of like. I understand people want to follow everything with the comic, but
mm.
I think for me per se, I'm liking the fact that they stepped away from it and they went into this whole spy television type of feel
Yeah,
to this
it
show.
does got like a espionage type field and
Yeah,
who's pretty much who's the mole, who's not type of situation.
exactly.
That's the vibe I
Yeah,
was getting, and I like how they I think it's set in 2025 if I'm not mistaken.
yeah.
You know,
So
is the
during
main focus on episode one was in Moscow,
yeah,
so I don't want to give too much away. I'm not trying to give a play by play, but for the most part,
that and the fact that they basing it off of prior events of She-Hulk, even though this
uh,
is a whole nother, but I like the fact that they are tying it into other shows in the canon, but it's
mhm.
also a different feel from all the shows from the canon. You know, from within the canon. Like this is the first time I think we've seen a spy type of TV series from Marvel. I don't think I wouldn't count Winter Soldier
Agent,
and
would
Falcon
would
Winter Soldier.
you would you yeah Agent Carter maybe and stuff like that. That might be the closest espionage type
Yeah,
in the
and
Marvel
even
universe.
with
No, that yeah, that's like the closest I can think of. Maybe I'm forgetting
yeah,
something. Man. Unless you want to go to
yeah, cause
Agent of Shield type. Uh,
nah, cause they wasn't even that. They
yeah,
wasn't even
that
that.
wasn't really
Like,
espionage, but you get what I'm trying to say. It was that type of yeah. Agent Carter might be the closest one I could think of. Am I forgetting
yeah,
somebody? That might
nah,
be the
cause
closest to an espionage type Marvel in a Marvel type situation.
yeah, cause
Might be
I'm
the
about to
closest.
say yeah, cause I'm about to say Falcon Winter Soldier wasn't even that much spy. Like
Well,
pretty much
technically, it
very
was somewhat like a spy, secret agent type of
yeah,
thing. Technically,
yeah,
it was. It was. I'm gonna say, yeah, Falcon Winter Soldier might be the closest of the new generation. The new
yeah.
generation.
I got
Yeah, that might
you.
be the closest. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then I do like the fact that they tied in, like they actually filled in a way to tie in somewhat the storyline from the comic, but also kept it original with like how the scrolls are in Earth, like are like they pretty much some of them stayed in Earth. It wasn't the
Hmm.
whole like pretty much they try to go with the whole Captain Marvel route, saying that she found a new planet for him, but actually some of them stayed. They're used to
Yeah, but
you know
well, but you gotta understand, like they still didn't have a new home technically. Even though Nick Fury
exactly yeah.
promised him, that's probably why the feud. You know why the radical group came up with the
Mhm.
scroll. That's pretty much. I hate to spoil it. That's pretty much the plot of why they probably they
Well,
feel
we could
like
get
disrespected and they've been taken over.
well we could get into. I mean, we could go with your points and then we could go right into it, like from the beginning. We
Yeah, we
know
can go
like
right into it. It's pretty much scrolls have infiltrated every government,
mhm.
power structure, and stuff like that. And they pretty much. Do you want me to give the spoiler? Really,
Yeah, we can.
like
Yeah,
what's
we
the
can.
plot
We
of it?
can.
Pretty much, looks like they're looking for a dirty bomb. It's gonna be set off
Yeah,
in Russia, and it's gonna start wage a war between U.S. and Russia. I'm just
yeah,
giving away like, hopefully, that's somewhat like if you watch episode one, it's sort of like given. Anybody
yeah.
can pick that up.
Pretty much they turn it into they're pretty much turn scrolls into well this radical group of scrolls into a terrorist group
Just,
that start
yeah.
a new wars so they can
Yeah, they let the
take
humans
over
fight
the
and they
world.
just take over. Pretty much,
Yeah,
that's pretty much the plot of the
yeah.
radical group.
Because they got technology where another spoiler, but but if you know the story of scrolls, they can literally
Yeah,
tap into people's minds while captured. So
yeah,
what they doing is taking their identities and their memories, and then they
hmm
just gonna take over their lives while everybody else is fighting. That's pretty much what they're doing. But
yeah. That's pretty much. And Nick Fury came back. Pretty
mhm.
much met with some contacts in Russia, stuff like that. That's pretty much. I'm trying to speak very vague. I don't want to go
Yeah.
tell too much detail. But
Now I did realize one thing about Nick Fury in this, and they did confirm it with like interviews and stuff like that. Because it's like I wonder, seeing him without the eye patch, would that be a side of Nick Fury that they don't that people are not used to seeing? And I think it was confirmed that that was like a weaker side of him. And I'm like, yeah, I can see that because we always know Nick Fury is having the eye
mm,
patch, being uh, I guess I mean a hard ass all the time.
mm.
So by him being like kind of like not trusting, but being so like not paranoid either, but kind of like aware of his surroundings, it's kind of like a different feel, and I like it. Like what I'm saying? It's like it's even showing that Nick Fury gotta watch his back sometimes. Like it's like what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like one
I'm
of
trying
those
to think of
type
any great
situations.
points. What about Gaia, the little girl from Captain Marvel, the original one? She's technically an
No,
adult
wait,
now. She should be in her 30s. That was 30
Emily,
years ago.
yes,
Yeah.
Emily Clark actually made her MCU debut as Gaia, the daughter
Mm.
of the leader squad. Well, he got
And then
kicked. He
me,
backed out.
it's a lot of Game of Thrones actors in this.
Yeah, yeah. It's been a
Am I the
lot of
only
Game of
person?
Thrones.
I was like, did he play in Game of Thrones? That's the first thing that came in my mind when I was watching
Yeah, a lot of them have been in the MCU, but seriously, a
it.
lot.
Yeah,
Like
that.
a lot.
but
So
we can start out how the episode started off with the crazy guy with the conspiracy theory,
yeah,
which later found out he was
yeah,
right.
yeah. Agent Prescott. So
Yeah.
Evelyn, I mean, uh, uh, Everett Ross, Agent Ross, as we will just call it short. He managed to find out about the plan from the scrolls. Find out that they about to do, as like you said, espionage, terrorist attacks, so they could start a war, so they could take over. But in the process of that, he has hunches that Ross was also a scroll. It has not shown, but tendencies of scrolls were shown by Ross. So he had the hunch. He showed him the plan, this, that, and the third, talking about Fury. Something about I think it was something about Fury that he knew that kind of like gave it away that Ross was a scroll, and then he
Well,
attacked him.
if you follow Ross, technically he got locked up in Black Panther, Wakanda.
And it was right around that same frame. Yes. So
Yeah, so
technically,
technically that's hard to give it away. He was probably was a scroll when I first watched it. That's the first thing that came to mind. Like when he locked up, I know it's probably what like 2 years after Wakanda Forever, give or take two or three.
yeah,
Don't quote me on
yeah,
that. I don't the
yeah.
exact timeline, but I figured it was like a few years.
I would say I probably say it's around the same time frame. So probably right when this
Because
happens,
it
probably
said
like
in
a year later.
2025. I looked it up. It was set in 2025. The Secret Invasion
Yeah.
series, the year 2025. So that's probably
So
a few years after
so
Wakanda
yeah,
Forever.
so yeah, it's like a few years after Wakanda. So yeah, he's still on the run. So he
Mm-hmm.
might be in Russia, but not under Shield because technically he's no
Mm-hmm.
longer Shield no more. Technically,
Okay.
but they went through the plan. He went through the plan saying how they did it. Did the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
He found out about Ross. He, Ross kills Prescott. Then he goes on his run. We find out that it's somebody telling them. At first, we think it's just a regular, KGB or MI6 type of person telling him. They do go through this whole chase meltdown or whatever the case may be. They go through the whole chase. Find out that he's a scroll when
Mm-hmm.
he falls off the building and literally falls flat on the surface. Well, also the fact that Marie Hill was actually telling him, which I was kind of weird because it showed up as him being Ross, which I'm kind of surprised that she didn't pinpoint that Ross was on the run the whole time. So
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of like, okay. So they still kept a tracker on him, supposedly. Um, so when that whole thing happened, then you find out that he's a scroll, and then he's getting followed by the leader, well, the former leader of the scrolls, and because he was in camera, he shape shifted to another person. Then he went through that. Yeah, then we get introduced to the villain, and everything else just goes into crap after that. Not gonna
Uh,
spoil the ending. I think we got theories on
it
that,
was
but
a
we'll
great
do that
action
later.
film with
Yeah,
Maria Hill, and
yeah.
the fight scene. I'm not gonna give it away, but it was a good fight scene. That's probably was the, what I mean, the cliffhanger that ended pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah. 'Cause I'm trying to get the guy's name, the actual villain, the scroll
Villain name.
villain name. Yeah, I think I Garrick. Garrick. That's his name. Garrick. So he's the villain. Scroll. He's the leader of the rebellion. Scrolls that took over from
Mm-hmm.
the original scrolls. Uh, I guess consul seat. He took over that. So they exiled him, and he became the new leader of, or the new board council member of that group, and he followed up with this plan. Um, in the process, he realized that, uh, like I said, Nick Fury was still in touch with them, but not in touch with them. You know what I'm saying? Like he kept his distance pretty much. And then now you see he has to come back, fight this guy, or figure out what his plan is. Um, Telos, yeah, Telos. That's his name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any what would you rate this episode? 1 to 10.
I would actually give it let me see, first episode. I would give it like a 7. I give it like a 7.
Okay. I say 7.5. Probably slightly above below an 8. I wouldn't go exactly at 8 per se.
Yeah, yeah. It's a
Any
it's a
predictions? What about predictions? Any predictions after what we had from episode 1? Any predictions?
all right. This is the one I was saving for, but I'm pretty sure we both thinking the same thing. Uh, the big spoiler flash. So if you haven't watched it, press
We can
pause.
discuss spoilers, man. It's okay, man. It's okay.
Yeah,
You already
but
warned
still,
you. If you continue to watch, it's sort of your fault at this point.
yeah.
But
So, I think the Marie Hill death. I firmly believe Marie Hill is a scroll that
okay.
that so happily took her identity and memories,
Hmm.
and I think that was the one. I think that was the one Dirk killed. I don't think that's actually Marie Hill. I think she's going to come back eventually at some
Okay.
point in
I
the
think
series.
if it was her, I think she'd probably come back later in the series
Yeah,
if he was. And another thing I think probably what just this might be a potential giveaway. I think a lot of what we're gonna find out a lot of Marvel characters may have been
yeah,
scrolls. It's gonna make you second guess who's scroll is who and who's not. That's why my prediction is.
yeah. Because I'm starting to think the president that's in this one before Ross take over. I don't think he's a scroll. I think he's the last missing piece for them to
Yeah,
actually
I
take over
think
the
the
W.
scrolls another prediction since they reference the White House a lot. I think the
Yeah,
scrolls are gonna try to take the president. That's my gut. Just by
yep.
as a gut. Hopefully I didn't steal your thunder. That was a.
No. You was actually thinking the same thing I was thinking. I'm like, I think they're
Mhm.
gonna try to take the president. I was literally thinking the same thing. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
they're
because
gonna
they
try to
kept
take.
referencing the White House. If you look at it, if you look at the imagery, it reference the White House, the president, and stuff like that.
Even few of the clips showed them attacking him. So it's like it all depends on how they're gonna. I guess they're gonna have a plan to try to take over. Because once
Well,
you get the White
probably
House,
probably since they took over power structures in different
yeah,
countries, they
exactly,
probably somewhere connected somewhere in the White House. There's
yeah,
probably a scroll. I think it's gonna be one of those you probably gonna guess who's a scroll and who's not. That's my gut is telling me throughout this series. But
yeah,
that's just off the information from episode 1. But I give this episode a 7.8. Not quite the 8, but
yeah,
it was actually a good episode. Good left on a good cliffhanger to keep to draw you in to keep watching it.
yeah. Because I don't think they're gonna pull the Nick Fury of Winter Soldier with Marie Hill. They think she's dead, but she's not really
Oh man,
dead. I think.
they going Game of Thrones style. Nobody's safe. They doing that.
Well, she is one of the original members, but the funny thing is, they showed her take her last breath, but at the same time, like even with like some of the scrolls death, they never showed them change back the scrolls until the very last second. But the fact that they never showed her transforming, I'm like, all right, it could be a possibility. Plus, she did bleed red, but at the same time, it's still a possibility she still could be a
Mhm.
scroll. It's still a strong possibility because Marvel like to keep everything locked up. They can sit there, she can have interviews all day saying that yeah, I got a sad death. That was a sad day that I found out I was dying. That
Mhm.
whole thing. If you know
Yeah.
Marvel ain't gonna let nobody in nothing,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But I
especially
think we yeah, go ahead.
and I was gonna say, especially when you're dealing with shapeshifters. You know what I'm saying? Shapeshifters. You
Yeah.
never know, bro. You never know. She didn't think she didn't think freaking Nick Fury was going to shoot her. Like she thought it was
Yeah.
regular him. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm very happy and anticipating this season. I think when it's all said and done, I truly believe this might be top three, top four Marvel shows if they play it right
Mhm.
that they released. That they released, and this might be one of the most original. This is the most original show I've seen from Marvel as far as Disney Plus
Mhm.
shows. So
Okay. All right. So I think we talked about enough. We gave some
yeah,
spoilers. I want to thank everybody for watching. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. We greatly appreciate it if you. Oh, also comment if you agree, disagree, or if you think we forgot something. We're more than welcome to make mistakes and
yeah,
learn. All right. So peace and hickories.
yeah.